Every now and then, a story comes along and quietly reminds us of something we already know. But often forget that love doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. Today's story is one of those gentle truths. A quiet life shared by an ordinary couple from a small town in Iowa. Gordon Yeager and Norma Yeager didn't meet in a dramatic way. There was no big moment, no scene you would point to and say, "That's where it all began." It was just a simple day that slowly became meaningful, a beginning neither of them expected. Gordon was steady and thoughtful, the kind of person who made others feel safe. Norma was warm and bright, always bringing a little light into any room she entered. Their personalities fit together effortlessly. Before long, they realized something simple and honest. They didn't want to face the world without each other. They married in 1940, a time when the world felt uncertain and the future was hard to predict. But their commitment never wavered. Their life unfolded quietly, with work, with children, and with responsibilities that filled their days. Nothing about their story was flashy, but everything about it was sincere. Gordon ran a small auto parts shop, the kind of place customers visited more for him than for the parts. Norma took care of their home and raised their family with a warmth that made everyone feel welcome. Together they built a life in the smallest, most meaningful ways. Every morning they shared a cup of coffee at the kitchen table. Every afternoon they sat together on the front porch and watched the neighborhood drift by. And whenever they walked anywhere, to the store, to a friend's house, or down the street, their hands were always joined. Their children would later say that holding hands was simply the way their parents existed. It wasn't a habit, it was a language. Comfort. A quiet way of saying, "I'm here. I'm with you." 72 years passed like that, not quickly but gently. A lifetime built through routine, through trust, and through steady devotion. By October of 2011, Gordon was 94 and Norma was 90. Their steps had slowed, but their closeness remained unchanged. One calm October afternoon they went out together as they always did. Nothing felt unusual. Until the moment everything changed. On their way home they were involved in a car accident. The impact was severe, and at their age the injuries were critical. Emergency responders arrived quickly and made a compassionate decision. They placed Gordon and Norma in the same ambulance side by side, so neither of them would face those frightening moments alone. At the hospital, doctors quickly realized how little time remained. So they made another choice. They placed the couple in the same room, on a single bed large enough for them to lie close and hold hands, just as they always had. Even through pain and fading strength, their fingers stayed intertwined. Their breathing slowed. The room grew quiet. But their hands never parted, as if that simple touch was the last promise they wanted to keep. At 3:38 p.m. on October 12th, Gordon Yeager took his final breath. But something strange appeared on the monitor. His heartbeat was still there, a faint, steady rhythm, as if he was somehow holding on. The medical team looked closer. And then they understood. Gordon's heart had already stopped. The heartbeat showing on the monitor was Norma's, her pulse traveling through their joined hands, creating the illusion that his heart was still beating beside her. When the family learned this, they were overwhelmed. To them, it felt as if Gordon was staying close to Norma in the only way he still could, refusing to let go even after his own heart had stopped. 1 hour later, with her hand still in his, Norma Yeager took her final breath. Nurses said her passing was peaceful, as if she were drifting into sleep beside the person she loved most. Their family believed that Norma didn't want to continue a life without Gordon. and that Gordon had waited just long enough to guide her gently into their final moment together. Their story spread across the United States on ABC News, on CBS, and through local stations everywhere. People connected with it not because it was dramatic but because it felt true. A reflection of what lifelong love can really look like. Gordon and Norma Yeager were ordinary people. They didn't seek attention. They didn't try to be remembered. Yet they left behind something rare. A quiet record of devotion that lasted 72 years. Their love didn't appear in grand gestures or dramatic declarations. It lived in morning coffee, slow walks, familiar streets, and hands that instinctively reached for one another, right up to their very last hour. This story invites us to think about the people we love, the ones who move through our days with us, who make ordinary moments feel like home, and whose presence gives our lives their shape. Love doesn't often arrive with fireworks. More often it settles into our routines. It grows through small acts of kindness. It survives in the quiet habits we share, like two people holding hands for 72 years. And sometimes, in the rarest moments, it refuses to let go. Even when one heart has already stopped beating. May their story remind you to hold a little tighter to the people who matter. To notice the small gestures. To appreciate the quiet devotion that lives inside ordinary days. Because that's where love truly lives, not in the loud moments, but in the gentle ones we might otherwise overlook. This is Runabooks. Thank you for being here.